Growing up, we had a great life. I definitely did. It was me and my mom and my sister. My mom did great. She was a business owner. She owned a convenience store where I grew up in Pearl River. We did great, great woman. At 7 years old, we lost everything and we moved to Hammond. My mom turned into like a deep depression and she began to binge drink a lot. I realized that I couldn't be around that. I didn't want to be around that.
I had a pretty cliche kind of childhood. And then when I was 8, I was molested by people that I thought were like my older brothers, kind of like some of my people I looked up to. And that's kind of where everything kind of became reality, that everything's not really as innocent as everything seems.
When I was in middle school, actually, we always used to just, when we didn't have like the money for the rent and getting kicked out of the house, we always used to just sleep in the car, and sometimes we would go sleep in the storage. You know, I just always just go to school and just, you know, as a regular day, like, you know.
Around the time of Hurricane Ida, my mom caught COVID and spinal meningitis and a bunch of other nasty things and almost died. My dad then lost his job because he just wanted to be at home in case anything happened to my mom. And then my mom, she was actually here in Slidell, recouping and everything. And by the time she came home to an eviction notice.
First, when I lived in California, it was when I was really young, and then I moved to New York just to be closer to my parents' family. And then after a couple years of living there, I don't know if it was the stress from work, but they started drinking, and they just drank really heavily. Eventually, the drinking led to drugs, and it just got worse and worse and worse.
And at this point, we're now living in a motel, London Lodge in New Orleans. And that was the most horrific experience. Me and my mom and my dad sharing one bed for 7 months. Everybody working, trying to make sure that we can provide, get meals. At that time, we didn't have a stove, we had a microwave. And I hadn't had a home-cooked meal in so long. Anytime I ever had one was when I went off.
All their money went to it, just like every week. It was like a weekly payment until they had no more money and we couldn't pay our bills. So we were living in hotels. And after we told a relative about that, they told us to come live with them in Louisiana. I needed to start school, so I went with my aunt in school, and my mom left one day without telling me. And she took my siblings, and she took her boyfriend, and just left me and my brother with my aunt, and we just figured things out from then.
There was this one day, it was July 20th. We got kicked out of there. Nowhere else to go. Felt like we had ran out of any luck we ever had in our life.
One Way Love has given me a lot of opportunities with driving, especially because I live with people who are not really home a lot, so I have no rides, I have no way to get around, I have no way to get to a job, no way to get to sports, and it's really, really hard trying to keep up with everything and having no ride. So being able to drive myself will really help, but there's no way I can pay for driving school myself, so this really helped me getting that payment, and now I'll be able to do more stuff.
It was during this time of being alone that I felt and kind of act like I don't have to talk to anybody, that I'm just gonna be okay, that everything will just blow over, and that I don't talk to anybody about my problems. Miss Rosemary showed me that it's okay to talk about that, and she gave me room for it. And just since then, she's been teaching me new ways to just take every bit of things you get and just take it in stride, and to move forward no matter what. And I'm entirely grateful for her.
When I moved out, I had my aunt actually was friends with the counselor from school. So I started talking to her. She introduced me to Miss Katie, who introduced me to Miss Rosemary. And I come over to her house. She made me feel very welcome.
They go out of their way and do things for me that I never imagined. It really makes me happy to have someone like Miss Rosemary.
I think it's important to donate to keep the charity going, because even though I lived so long without it, there are other kids who are younger than me that desperately need this. And the better that you catch people, and help them when they're younger, they won't have to keep going and living in misery. And they can, help more kids like me who are stuck in those dark thoughts, who feel like they don't have to talk to anybody, because when it gets all bottled up, it's horrible.
I always love photography and I always love taking pictures. One Way Love had bought me a camera and such as a computer to help me do more of that and succeed in that.
I remember for my birthday, I got a bucket for detailing from Home Depot. I cleaned my truck and I was like, wow, that looks good. And, I see on the internet a lot, like talking about detailing and how much money you can make from it. So I didn't really take it serious. I've always been a hustler growing up. When it come to anything, I know how to make money. And I remember one day, I gave a lady a business card I met. She told me her husband owned a dealership and that, if he was looking for an employee, he'll give me a call. So I stayed doing what I was doing, working at Walmart every day. About 4 months later on, I got a call from Mr. Jason. So I took the offer and he seen that I was a great, employee. I've been working there ever since.
Growing up, still on the line of having no one to talk to, felt like I just had to be myself. I always watched movies. Part of that was kind of like a therapy experience for me because, watching those stories, watching the guy get the girl, everybody having a happy ending, I desperately wanted that. And eventually, as I got older, I kind of wanted to make movies for those people like me that wanted to see a happy ending for once, wanting to have a movie that can connect to them, and see in the ending that if they just keep going and just keep fighting, that everything can be a little bit better.
One Way Love helps the homeless youth of St. Tammany Parish graduate high school. And how we do that is we feed, we clothe, we shelter, we love, we nurture, we give all the things to them that all of the other students have that they don't have, so they can fit in and they can feel like they're one of their peers instead of someone so far removed because of all the pain and all the need. Helping these kids in St. Tammany Parish get to the finish line. And that finish line is graduating high school. Because we know if they can get there, they can do anything.
When I think about One Way Love, there are a couple of words and adjectives that come to mind for me, because unless you really are in the midst of it, you don't really understand how life-giving and life-saving it is for students, because a lot of times it's easy to get derailed. If it wasn't for One Way Love, if we didn't have One Way Love in the picture, I could foresee many students being pulled into sex trafficking. I could see many students dropping out of high school. I could see many students going into severe depression, anxiety just worsening. It's hard to say exactly what it would look like, but I do know that the difference that One Way Love makes is huge. They save lives. It saves lives.
I see so many kids in various situations. I had a student this year whose dad had died driving on the Causeway Bridge, and One Way Love was able to give him driver's lessons, and it was the first time I ever saw this student smile. I'm fortunate because I get to be the person who sees the kids' faces light up through your donation. You're the love behind the scenes, and I'm the one that gets to witness it. So I thank you for that.
I just want to say thank you to One Way Love and everybody who supports One Way Love, because you're not only supporting the program, but everybody in it. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you, One Way Love, for that. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Mike as well.
Thank you, One Way Love, and thank you, Miss Rosemary, for saving me.
Together, with your support, we can end teen homelessness
and build a better future where love leads the way.